and gentlemen, welcome back to CWRL's Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. And once again, we have come to the final round of our weekly event here, where it will be Number One Racing taking on the Smokehouse. Number One Racing has a near 80-point deficit to overcome against the Smokehouse. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull it off. But if the qualifying does not work out favorably to them, then they're definitely going to be looking at an uphill battle. But as a reminder, that if a checkers car wins this final heat race, then that car will not just score 25 victory points, but it will be 50 victory points to cap off the event. Now, I also want to talk about tomorrow evening, where tomorrow evening we will be hosting our third monthly special. And yeah, we've had a lot of monthly specials in the month of March here, but considering we had just founded the league in March, we are playing catch up to where we are in the appropriate spot in the schedule. So after tomorrow's event, the Rumble at The Rock, we will be going back to a monthly format, so you can look for the final weekend in April for our next big event, which will be coming up, and that is the Slinger Showdown from Slinger Speedway. And that is a quarter-mile track that is one of the fastest quarter-mile tracks you will ever see. And I get that feeling that's the type of speedway where we will also see traffic jammers mucking up the works with the checker and wreckers cars, as those cars are able to keep pace with the leaders on these types of tracks. Anywho, that being said, Number One Racing has, once again, a 79-point deficit to catch up on against the Smokehouse, who comes into the finals here with 152 points. That being said, let's get this final round underway. Now, the final round is 20 minutes long, and any green flag pit stops that occur during the round will cause the clock to pause, so we can ensure that the field is cycled through pit stops, and so nothing gets overly mixed up or confusing. I appreciate you all sticking with us here through another Fight Night at the Freedom Factory.
Drivers,
Let's get the final randomized qualifying underway. And you can see it's all Smokehouse on the front row, with Number One Racing's record car on the inside of the second row and their checker car on the outside. Hold on one moment as I tend to scratching at the door from the cat. You good, buddy? You good? Gotta love cats. They make life worth living sometimes. Alright, guys, let's get this final round of Fight Night at the Freedom Factory
drivers,
underway.
to your cars.
It has been an interesting event so far, and hopefully it will close out interesting. We got the Smokehouse going up against Number One Racing.
Drivers, start your engines!
field rolls along, gets underway here. These cars coming off of turn 3 and 4, about to dive on down. Here we go. Factory is officially underway. The wrecker car for the Smokehouse gets out to an early lead here, which will be great for them if they want to play defense. But I imagine they want to score points and get out of this in as many points as they possibly can. And as you can see, it looks like there was a little bit of calamity there between number 1 Racing and the Smokehouse with their checker car. But it looks like the wrecker's cars are holding tight. You can see that the checker car for number 1 Racing tried to get a little intense and wound up wrecking himself in the process, dropping him back to the 9th position. And you can see right now the Smokehouse trying to work their way on the outside for 2nd spot, as the record car for number 1 Racing still holding that position, trying to chase down the wrecker car for the Smokehouse. So right now the Smokehouse holding their lead over number 1 Racing, and you can see there's more chaos coming on here in the back of the pack, which will mean that these cars will run into the traffic jam more sooner than expected. Checkers and record cards running 1 through 4 right now. Number 1 Racing needs to close the gap, but their checker car running back and forth is not going to be able to score the points that he needs to close this gap on the Smokehouse, who are looking to get out of this event with an easy win. But I imagine they'll want to leave with a little more than 10 or 15 points in the day. We're down to 17:55 on the clock in this event, Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. The Smokehouse holding the advantage over number 1 Racing with their near 79-80 point advantage over them coming into this main event. You can see the checkers cars for the Smokehouse and number 1 Racing in 3rd and 4th respectively, close to the leaders, but still not in a position to score any points until we start lapping these traffic jammers here, which are now coming into the leader's windshield sight. See Smokehouse preventing number 1 Racing from scoring any more points to get this win. You can see in the back there, the checkers cars swapping positions here as number 1 Racing takes that 3rd spot away from the Smokehouse, leaving them back in the 4th spot. And you can see that they're not satisfied with that. That checkers car is now working on his partner for the 2nd spot. He's going to complete that pass there and work his way into the 2nd position. That checkers car for number 1 Racing on a mission, as we have 16.5 minutes remaining in Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. You can see the Smokehouse working lap traffic already as he laps one of his own, coming into turns 1 and 2, looking at a traffic jammer from number 1 Racing as we are working the 16th lap of this heat. Gets up into that wall a little bit, close to closing momentum, but not enough to make any difference. As you can see, the gap is still pretty solid between him and number 1 Racing. That checkers car is still hungry for that 2nd spot, still hungry to get to that leader and start scoring points, as number 1 Racing needs to close that almost 80-point gap between it. And now you can see that he's about to do that, as the leader got caught up in a little bit of calamity, and that would be their first lap led of this event. Number 1 Racing has just taken the lead with their checkers car solidly out front, and wrecker's car playing wingman right now. But you can see see that Wrecker's car. Oh, and he takes himself out. The best possible thing that could happen, really, for number one racing as they are looking to score more points and catch up to the Smokehouse, who held a near 80-point advantage. And if they're able to win this event here, that will also give them 50 victory points that could help them win the overall event. Number one racing looking good right now with the Wrecker car from the Smokehouse in close second spot, Checker car in third, and Traffic Jammer in ninth there so far. So you can see that points have been scored by number one racing as the Wrecker's car is back here in the distant fourth, trying to catch up to the leaders. You can see more calamity here as the Traffic Jammer car has just been put a lap down by the leaders. That is 3 more points for number one racing. These Traffic Jammers not doing the Smokehouse any good, trying to keep that lead that they had coming into the main event here. You can see the Checkers car for the Smokehouse still in third, and the Wrecker in second. Meanwhile, number one racing adding points not only from leading lap, but from putting Smokehouse Traffic Jammer a lap down. As you can see, there is one more in his sights right now that he's about to close in on in the next few laps here, working his way out of turn 3 and 4 as we speak. Number one racing putting on the race that they need to pull out the victory here tonight at Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. An unexpected twist of the event has put the Smokehouse on utter defense, as they are not defending themselves very well as number one racing keeps chipping into their point lead one by one by one. See that the Checker car there for the Smokehouse got himself up to the wall and has made the lead even greater for the Checkers car in number one racing. Number one racing looking to be the first-time winner here in CWRL's brief history. We have not yet had a repeat winner. Our first event, the Battle of Bristol, was won by the Intimidators. Our second event was won by chasing the Elliott, which was our first Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. Then World War Wall last week was won in incredible fashion by Boogity Boogity Racing, who scored 666 points in that event when all the points were tallied and doubled. As big events get their points doubled, and Fight Nights are come as you are. Meanwhile, you can see that Smokehouse still in a distant second, with the Checkers car working through his own lap traffic with ease. All 3 of those are Traffic Jammers there. Complete lap 35, working on lap 36. Number one racing putting on a clinic here today, as they definitely need to in order to catch up to the Smokehouse, which they are doing a good job of so far. Smokehouse in a distant second, trying to work that lap traffic, and in a distant third is the Checkers car and the Wrecker's car there for number one racing. Now, the lap traffic has been cleared, and once again it is the Checkers car for number one racing on point with the Wrecker's car from the Smokehouse in a close second, trying to chase him down and get that lead and prevent them from scoring any more points. Number one racing having scored quite a few points here with only half of the main event having passed. We still have another 10.5 minutes to go here. Out of this event with their first CWRL the Smokehouse, who came into the main event here with 152 points on the evening. Either way, no matter what they leave with it tonight, it's going to be a shake-up in the points. These teams will be making ground on the top four, which have, for all intents and purposes thus far, secured their spots into tomorrow evening's event, the Rumble at the Rock. That would be the teams of Boogie Racing, the Candymen, the Intimidators, and the Kingsport. Even though they had abysmal performances here tonight, the scores here were not grand enough thus far to be able to knock any of them out of the top four. But tomorrow evening will be more interesting as all point values for major events are doubled. So the Rumble of the Rock could shake up the points once again, just like World War Wall did last weekend. You can see that number one Racing still holding the pace here with their checkered car, scoring a hell of a lot of points from leading laps and having put down several traffic jammers from both teams so far. That the checkers car for the Smokehouse is in a distant third there, a little ways out of the picture, but is now within about straightaway of the leader. As we get to under 8 minutes here remaining in this event, number one Racing doing what they need to do to close the gap just by leading laps alone. If they are able come out of this with the victory with the checkers car, that will be an additional 50 victory points on the event, which is 50 points closer on the leaders here. The Intimidators came in here with over 600 points. Boogie Racing came in here with over 700 points. So a lot of points to close in on, but if they can get these 50 points, that will definitely help them out. So we're looking at 7.5 minutes remaining here in the event. As you can see, there are now traffic jammers here between the checkered cars of respective teams. And these are points that the Smokehouse can score, as one of those traffic jammers is from number one Racing. You can see that the checkered car from number one Racing made quick effort of all that lap traffic. Meanwhile, you can see that the Smokehouse is doing the same thing with their wrecker's car, having just worked two cars within a single lap. Trying to close in on that leader as he works this final traffic jam. You can see that the checkered car for the Smokehouse is doing the same exact thing, making quick work of these traffic jammers, scoring 3 points as he puts one of them a lap down from number one Racing. You can see now that they have cleared the lap traffic and that the checker and wrecker car are 1, 2, 3 once again. Meanwhile, the wrecker car in a distant fourth, still on the lead lap, but still has a lot of those traffic jammers to work through. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining here in this final heat, in this final round of Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. We got the Smokehouse taking on number one Racing. Number one Racing came into this round with a near 80-point deficit on the Smokehouse, but have done an amazing job so far of closing the gap between them. Now, remember, in the event of green flag pit stops in this round, the time will be freeze until the pit stops cycle through and all 10 cars have successfully completed their pit. About 5 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock here. road here. Keep an eye on pit road. Coming down to under 5 minutes on the clock. You can see that number 1 Racing still holding the way right now. Traffic here coming into turns 3 and 4, putting one of his fellow traffic jammers a lap down and working on the next one in his sights. So he has a couple traffic jammers between him and second place. Still the wrecker car from the Smokehouse with the checker car in a distant third here still. Pit road still blank right now, but anytime these cars could come on and perform those green flag pit stops, and when they do, the time will have to freeze. We got 3 minutes 30 remaining here. As you can see, these cars are still running lap by lap without any incident right now. Number 1 Racing still showing the way. There's a ways back between him and second place. Got a nice, comfortable lead right now. The checkered car at third place. Looking at that traffic jammer, seeing those 3 points. You can see we're down to the final 2.5 minutes of the event. Number 1 Racing looking like they're about to pull this off. They have essentially closed the points gap between them and showing no mercy even to their own. But that's 3 points for the Smokehouse there, folks. That traffic jammer gets back on the way. There are no cars between the leader and second place right now as they come out of turn 3 and 4. And we are now to the final 2 minutes of this event. Number 1 Racing having a dominating day here today at Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. They can to salvage whatever points lead they have, but number 1 Racing definitely closed the gap by leading most of these laps here, if not all of these laps here. We're about to work on lap 79 right now as we take a quick look at pit road and see that it is still empty. Coming down to the final 1 minute of the event. Pit lane still clear, nothing changing on the clock now. Number 1 Racing has 30 seconds left on the clock. Coming out of turn 3 and 4. So after this, there will likely be 2 to go at the line. See, this is in turn 3 and 4. We got 15 seconds on the clock. 2 to go this lap as he has worked around another lap traffic car here. Number 1 Racing looking like they're about to pull out of this event with their first victory. We have just hit the white flag lap here. See them coming down turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Number 1 Racing takes their first CWRL victory here at Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. We just need to get final point tallies to make sure that everything is official. Number 1 Racing pulling the upset here over the Smokehouse, who came into this event with an almost 80-point advantage on Number 1 Racing, but Number 1 Racing refused to lose this evening. They will get 50 victory points in addition for leading the final lap. Okay. Everything. But the first 17 laps. So we completed 83. So 66 points for leading laps by Number 1 Racing, plus 50 for winning the event, and that would be 116 points, and then plus whatever cars they put a lap down. So, see, they were each 2 laps down. So 134 points overall there. In that round. Meanwhile, the checkers car for the Smokehouse. Did not lead anything. everything but 3 of those points. So they scored 21 points off of traffic jammers and nothing else. Giving them a grand total of 173 points on the day. That is still a very respectable and admirable performance by the Smokehouse, but our winners, Number One Racing, wound up with a whole lot more. They wound up with 207 points on the day, making them today's winners of CWRL's Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. Now, those are some pretty solid totals, but I don't see them knocking anybody out of the top 4. So, most certainly for our next event, which will be Rumble at the Rock, you can expect Boogity Boogity Racing, the Candymen, the Intimidators, and the King's Court to all have guaranteed seeds in the main event tournament there. And all of these other teams will once again have to go through traffic jam qualifying tomorrow evening. So, that being said, thank you all once again for joining us for another CWRL Fight Night at the Freedom Factory. This is Geek Guru 1986, and we will see you for the Rumble at the Rock tomorrow evening. Good night, everybody.